welcome back to the ASMR channel. You're probably noticing right now that I'm wearing the same shirt as the last video, but in fact I'm just recording like right after the movie review too. So today I thought I'd tell you guys about some ghost experiences, and I'm sorry about the heater that just turned off. I did turn it off so it won't come back on. So ghost experiences, and this was inspired by someone who I watched their ghost stories on, and I'm horrible with names, as you guys know, so I'll leave his name right here. Hopefully. Michael, please go back and edit that. I'll definitely try. And this said guy, he kind of like inspired me to tell my ghost stories. And I do have a lot, including my uncle's ghost stories and my dad's ghost stories. And this actually may creep people out, and it still creeps me out, so I'm sorry if this is not a good video to do, but it's just an idea, and I do like talking about creepy stuff, so I'm sorry if it disturbs you. So the first one I'm going to tell you about, oh boy, I'm gonna hop right there. Well, I guess the first one I'm going to tell you about is when I was in my old house as a kid. This isn't a ghost story. I think I'm just going to put, the title's going to be something like creepy stuff. I don't know. This actually isn't a ghost story, I guess, but I find it to be creepy. As a kid, I've developed a imaginary friend, or it wasn't an imaginary friend, it was like an imaginary thing, an imaginary creature, and I'm terrified to talk about it right now, but because this thing is so disturbing to me, and people, when I tell them about it, they kind of just laugh about it, I guess, because it sounds stupid to them. To me, it really freaks me out, and I don't really like talking about it, but basically when I was a kid, I would be in my bed, and I would have this, a poodle, walking on its hind legs. And I didn't name this creature or this poodle anything, but as a kid I always imagined it, or imagined seeing it walk into my room on its hind legs, being at least 6 or 7 feet tall, and it just staring at me from the end of my bed, and then slowly walking to the side of the bed and just watching me sleep with its like beady black eyes. And that image in my head just terrified me. I think the reason why I was so scared of poodles at the time was from the movie The Hulk, which was made in 2003, and I was addicted to that movie. And there was that one scene where there was that poodle that was like, I don't know, he was on something that the father gave it, the same thing the Hulk was on, and it was just kind of creepy to me. So that's just like the first thing. I also used to have dreams of it though, which really terrified me, and like nightmares, where I would be forced out of my bed and dragged across the floor all the way to the basement in the kitchen, to the basement steps, and and you guys are going to laugh at me when I say this, but I would have nightmares of being sucked all the way to the basement, where I would look down, and in the dark, I would see the 6-foot-tall poodle on its hind legs dancing and just staring at me. And as stupid as that sounds, it terrifies me when I think back to it. And you're probably getting a good chuckle out of it right now, but it just terrified me, because in the dream I would be eventually sucked down the steps towards it, and it would just terrify me to death. So that's the first creepy story. Second ghost story. I don't know if I would call this a ghost story, but my mom had she got me a Tickle-Me-Elmo. You had to tickle it and it would make noise, I guess. I don't really remember, to be honest. This is my mom telling me this story, and kind of her ghost story, I guess. So one night, this Tickle-Me-Elmo went off inside my room, and I don't personally remember this, but she does, I guess. She went in there to turn it off, and then she went back to bed. She woke up again to it going off, even though she turned it off. This really freaked her out, so she grabbed the Tickle-Me-Elmo and she put it either, I don't know, I think it was the basement or the garage or something like that. But this time she took out the batteries to it because, it was creeping around or whatever. And then she went back to bed. She got back out of bed because she heard the Tickle-Me-Elmo go off with the batteries already out. And the next day, I saw my Tickle-Me-Elmo in the trash. Good job, Mom. That was my ear, I'm sorry. But good job, Mom. I would have done the same. I'm trying to think if I had any more ghost stories of my own. Well, I'll think about it while I tell you guys about the third ghost story, which is to my uncle. And actually this does involve me, and I kind of do remember it. I went to the bathroom one day in my uncle's old house, and this is from my uncle's perspective because I can't really remember this. This is a story he tells quite frequently. He said that I came out of the bathroom and I was saying something like I saw a man or a friend of his through the window, and that I was talking to him. And this man was wearing overalls, and his hand was missing. And he wore a farmer's hat, I guess. And he was an older man. And my uncle kind of was freaked out because I was in the bathroom, he was like, what kind of man, was looking in my bathroom at me. So he ran outside and he didn't see anyone. And I told my uncle, though, his name that he gave me. And I'm sorry, I can't remember what, like always, I can't remember names. I mean, this should be a theme by now. I mean, I should name my channel I Can't Remember Names ASMR. But I told him a name, and my uncle didn't know what I was talking about. So anyway, a few years later, he moved out of the house, which had frequent problems with it, and by that I mean hauntings. And I'll tell you those stories too. But he had issues with the house, and when he moved out, he decided to look up house's history, and he found out that there was a man that lived there, and during working on the house, he actually lost his hand, and the name I gave my uncle was his exact name. And ever since that, that really creeps me out, that a man that was possibly dead was actually talking to me in the bathroom window. I mean, that really freaked me out, and especially when I was a boy, because I don't think I would make anything up like that. He had a lot of problems with that house. My dad, he believes in the paranormal, but he's kind of a he's a tough guy. He doesn't really scare easily or anything like that. But one day he asked my uncle if he can go over, because my uncle was at work. He asked if he can go over and get something. I don't know if it was like a tool or something in the basement. And that already raises flags for everyone. Don't go in the basement. He went in the basement to get it, and my uncle said he came back to the house, and he went, downstairs. Halfway down the stairs, he saw the tool just there on the steps, and he called my dad back, and he said, what the heck? Why is my tool halfway down the stairs? And my dad just responded that he needed to get out of that house, and that it's haunted. And that surprised me, because my dad, that does not sound like him at all. So that just tells me there had to be something in that house. And my uncle, he said that when he slept on the couch, a little boy was talking to him, and he was just so scared that he just remained still and was like trying to silently breathe. My dad said that in my dad's the house that my dad grew up in, he said that while he was sleeping on the couch, he would hear dogs come up to him and sniff him, and they sounded like German shepherds or something. And he said that always scared the heck out of him. When he was sleeping, he would just feel breathing on his face, like a sniffing sound, and he would hear them walking around at night. And he said that there had to be dogs in the past there that died. Let me see if there's any more. My uncle did say in that house that I was previously talking about. Wow, my stomach. Holy crap, that was a loud one. My uncle said one night when he was sleeping up there, or downstairs on the couch, he didn't like to sleep upstairs. He said that downstairs, or upstairs, I'm sorry, he was downstairs on the couch. He said upstairs, he literally heard someone like running across the floor, and he jumped up and ran out of the house, and he slept over my grandmother's house because he was so terrified. And if that isn't enough, he actually encountered a white frog on his roof, and I know that really meant nothing to me, but he told me a story that currently he was at the time he was dating someone, and I guess she told him that she was like part Wiccan or part I don't want to offend anyone, so I'm not going to say what a Wiccan is, but I think I don't want to offend anyone, so I'm not going to say. But anyway, she wouldn't come onto the property of his, and she said that there's people here all around the property, and he didn't know what she meant by that. But she said she wouldn't step foot on the property, and she told him, she actually warned them, if you start to see white frogs, you have to get out of there. And he said to her that he's seen white frogs, like on the roof. And she just looked at him like, yeah. And like, I guess, I don't know, he moved a year after that, but he did have a garage sale once at that property. And at that garage sale, he had this woman come up to him and she said that she was the previous owner. And I think I remember what happened. She came in the house, he said, and she looked around because he offered to show her what it looked like now. And I guess she got really weird. Like, she was asking me questions like, is everything okay here? Or did you experience anything weird? And I don't know, it was like weird questions. And he did say that what he was experiencing there. And she kind of just smiled, like really creepily, and nodded. And it was kind of eerie. And then she just left. You know, she didn't want to be there that long. And I think she even at one point told him to stay out of the basement. Or if anyone comes to your house and tells you to stay away from the basement, or ask you questions like, are you experiencing anything here? Dude, I would be out there in seconds. I would not stay. I don't care how much money I put down on that house. I am getting out of there. There is no way. I mean, no. I mean, as soon as I, heard someone running upstairs around, I'm getting the hell out of that shit. I'm sorry. I don't mean to curse. I don't play that. I ain't doing that. I'm getting out of there. I guess he really wanted to stay there, or he had to. I don't really know why he stayed there as long as he did, but eventually he moved from it because it was just too much. Is there anything else? I'm trying to think if there was any more experiences with me, besides that poodle story at the beginning and the man to the bathroom window. I guess there was one night. Oh yeah, there was one night about like a year ago, actually. I was outside taking pictures of a full moon because it was really, really huge, and I had a camera at the time that would take a picture of it. I want to try to remember what happened, but I think I was taking pictures of the moon on a tripod, and it was one of my really nice tripods, when all of a sudden someone was screaming in the distance, and I was freaked out, and I went back inside, and I told my mom, my dad, and they came out, and they were looking around, and they didn't know, they didn't hear it, but it really freaked me out, so I kind of just dismissed it, and I'm like, okay, it's probably just some teenagers fooling around, and then I went back to my camera on my tripod to take more pictures of the moon, and when all of a sudden my tripod just like broke. And it was really bad, like the springs popped out of it, and I was like trying to collect all the pieces on the ground, and that's when things just got really weird. Like the wind it kind of picked up, and I thought I was hearing stuff like in the bushes going around, so I was getting like really kind of paranoid. But like the really creepy thing about it was at the time also I was really scared that my camera broke when it fell from the tripod, which it kind of just made little dents in it, but it didn't break at all. But then I heard like footsteps, like really loud footsteps on concrete. In that, like, I was terrified. I was looking around. Yeah, I was doing like 360s. I was ready for someone to run up and attack me. So I was like on level 100, like ready to fight or ready to get out of there. And I'm looking all around, you know, and I'm like freaked out because the cars are parked in the driveway. So I'm thinking, oh my God, what if someone, you know, just like quickly dodged behind the car and they're just waiting for me? So now my mind is like making up scenarios, like, so I was like paralyzed, just standing there. And I didn't hear any more footsteps, but I was like paralyzed, just like standing there for like the longest 45 seconds or something. When I just like started to slowly back up into the yard and then head back to, you know, the front door and I was so scared. That was terrifying. And, you know, when the full moon's out, you're instantly thinking, oh crap, this is like a werewolf or something. My mind will start to do that. So, I really do think I have another story to tell about like an experience, but I really can't remember anything. I did think I had one last. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. I hope I didn't wake you up. Maybe I'll edit it out. There was one though that I just remembered, and it was in this house, in this room, right in that corner, actually. And I'm really not making that up. It was in that corner. I'm pretty sure. This was experience with my dad. A little background story, and I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to give away where I live, but our street names are named after Indians and or tribe like Indian tribes. So when we first moved here, my dad would make the joke that we were placed on a Indian burial ground, which that's not funny because that's terrifying and I would want to think about that. So he would kind of just scare all of us and he would be the one laughing. Nothing paranormal has ever really happened in here before. I'm hearing noises right now behind me and that's kind of creeped me out. If I see anything pop up on that screen like a head coming over that couch, I'm jumping. Anyway, so my dad was kind of just like laughing about like, oh, hey, we're buried on an Indian burial ground. And I remember the next day, because he goes to work around 3 o'clock in the morning, and he comes back around 1 o'clock tomorrow, or next day, from work. And he, I think he did previously though, he called my mom, and he was telling her how at nighttime, he was seeing a light in the corner there, right over there. He saw like this light, kind of like shimmering, and it was pitch black back here. And I think he was just putting on his boots or something, ready to go to work. And he said he looked over here, and he said he could have swore he'd seen like a man or a little kid crouched up in the corner, and they kind of looked like they were Indian. Now, I don't know whether he told her that story to freak her out, to be a prank, so I'm not going to say that's a true experience that he experienced, I guess. But nonetheless, I did want to say something about it because that's kind of freaky. How, you know, he mentioned like a little kid or a man, like an Indian, crouched up in the corner, just kind of like staring at him. That's kind of creepy. But yeah, I don't think I have any more experiences to tell. I'll probably think of one right after I shut off this video, because that's how everything is with me. But Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't terrify any of you. And, I hope you're asleep. I can't imagine that you are, but I hope I entertained you. At least, I don't know why I'm putting this video up on an ASMR channel. But, I don't know. I really like creepy things, scary things, and, I think I think we can all just kind of listen to something that's creepy or scary and be very entertained by them and by the people that experience them. And, everyone has a different experience. And I think that it's really cool that we can experience these paranormal things, and that we can tell them to someone else and kind of freak them out. But yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, what's the catchphrase? Oh yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.